My husband allowed me to start our relationship anew, but then he disappeared without a word. Now I have nothing left. The sun set over the picturesque European town of Bruges, casting a warm afterglow on the cobbled streets. This enchanting city had once been the backdrop to Michael and Lena's life together, a life filled with laughter, love, and the appearance of perfection. But beneath the surface of their 5-year marriage lay unresolved tensions and hidden desires, waiting to unravel. It began innocently enough. One evening over dinner, as they discussed their hopes and dreams, Lena, ever the adventurer, brought up the idea of an open relationship. "Imagine the freedom, Michael," she said, her blue eyes sparkling with excitement. "We could explore without restrictions. It could bring us even closer." Michael, a traditionalist at heart, felt the weight of his insecurities pressing down on him. But his love for Lena compelled him to consider her proposal. After a moment's hesitation, he nodded. "If it will make you happy, I'll give it a try," he said, suppressing the anxiety gnawing at him. In the weeks that followed, Lena embraced her newfound freedom with enthusiasm. Nights out with friends became a regular occurrence, and her zest for exploration grew. Meanwhile, Michael found himself trapped in a cycle of jealousy and loneliness. He had thought he could handle it, but the foundation of their bond seemed to crumble a little more each day. One fateful evening, Michael decided to surprise Lena with a candlelit dinner. He came home early, excited to rekindle their connection. But as he entered their quaint apartment, something felt off. The air was heavy, charged with tension he couldn't quite explain. When he opened their bedroom door, his world shattered. Lena was entwined with another man, their laughter filling the room like poison. The stranger was tall and handsome, exuding an air of confidence that only deepened Michael's pain. Lena froze when she saw him. Her laughter faded, replaced by wide-eyed shock. "Michael, I can explain," she stammered, but he had already turned away. His chest felt tight, his breath shallow, as the betrayal seared through him. The woman he had trusted with his heart had torn it apart. Over the following days, grief turned to anger. When Michael confronted Lena, her explanations rang hollow. "You agreed, Michael. You wanted me to be happy," she cried, tears streaming down her face. But her words only deepened his sense of loss. Haunted by the memories of their love and the stark reality of her betrayal, Michael found himself consumed by a desire for revenge. He threw himself into his work to escape the weight of his emotions, but the thought of retribution lingered, growing stronger with time. Michael began to observe Lena closely. He noted her late-night returns, her evasive excuses, and the increasing number of men she saw, each more captivating than the last. Every discovery fueled his determination to act. Weeks later, an opportunity presented itself. A mutual friend was hosting a party, and Michael knew Lena would be there. This would be his moment. On the night of the party, Michael dressed with purpose, donning a tailored suit that gave him a newfound confidence. As he entered the bustling room, the sound of laughter and music filled the air. There she was, Lena. She stood at the far end of the room, radiant and carefree, her laughter ringing out as she flirted openly with her latest conquest. The sight ignited a storm of emotions within Michael: anger, sadness, and an unrelenting determination. He watched her from afar, his resolve hardening with each passing moment. Tonight, he would confront her, not just with words, but with the strength of a man who had been broken and rebuilt himself. Michael's heart raced as he prepared to execute his plan. He approached Lena with deliberate calmness. "Lena," he said, his voice low and measured, careful not to draw attention. She turned, her face lighting up with surprise. "Michael? What are you doing here?" she asked, her tone betraying a hint of tension. He gestured toward the crowd. "I think it's time we talked. You've had your fun, haven't you?" Her expression shifted, a flicker of guilt flashing across her face before she masked it with defiance. "This is my life, Michael. You agreed." The room grew silent as their friends began to sense the tension. Michael knew this was his moment to take control. "Do you want to see what freedom looks like?" he asked, pulling out his phone. He played a series of videos, Late-night rendezvous, suggestive messages, and images of Lena laughing and chatting with other men. Gasps rippled through the room as the evidence unfolded. Lena's face drained of color, her confidence crumbling. "Michael, please. This isn't fair," she pleaded, her voice trembling. "It's already done," he replied, his tone steady. "I didn't want it to come to this, but you forced my hand. You wanted freedom, so enjoy the consequences." He turned and walked away, leaving a stunned room in his wake. Whispers filled the silence, Lena's friends unsure of how to react. A mix of vindication and sadness swirled within Michael as he stepped outside. He had loved her, but that love was now in ruins. Days turned to weeks. The aftermath of the confrontation lingered, but Michael found solace in his newfound independence. He threw himself into work, building connections with colleagues who admired his determination. Slowly, the emptiness began to fade. Yet, late at night, he would miss the laughter and companionship they had shared. Still, he reminded himself that betrayal had destroyed their bond, and there was no path back. One evening, while preparing dinner, Michael's phone buzzed with a message from Lena. "Michael, I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt you." The words lingered, stirring an ache of nostalgia. For a moment, he considered responding, but he knew he had already moved on. Some doors were better left closed. "Lena, you made your choice." He hit send. It was too late to take it back, but as the sun dipped below the horizon, a sense of relief washed over him. He had reclaimed his life, his dignity, and his future. True liberation, Michael realized, didn't come from others' choices, but from within. The pain of betrayal would fade, and though he bore scars, he emerged stronger, ready to face whatever life had in store. The memory of Lena began to dissolve, much like the sun disappearing into the promise of a new dawn.